Tonight, Cartel chaos.
I looked to my left, and there were two cars on fire in the intersection.
Reaction from Londoners in Mexico amid an outbreak of widespread violence. Plus, housing of all forms.
Pre-pandemic, we would never have been looking at this at all in any shape, form, or fashion.
The small town approach to affordability. And words to live by.
I just try and live every day like it's your last and stay positive.
The London teen taking on a terminal illness like there's no tomorrow.
Just try to live life with no regrets.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a wave of retaliatory violence across Mexico after the killing of a prominent cartel leader by military forces. Federal authorities are telling Canadians in Mexico right now exercise a high degree of caution and avoid travel to several popular tourist destinations. With more, here's Avery Haynes.
I've just landed in Mexico City trying to make my way to Puerto Vallarta, which is no easy feat considering the fact that this country has been plunged into chaos with travel warnings as well as flight cancellations. Thousands of Canadians who are stranded in this country because of those cancellations had no idea when they booked their flight to escape the cold that they would be plunged into the heat of narco violence. They have been sending back absolutely jarring images, not of beaches and sunsets, but of war zones. Now, we know that some internal flights have just reopened, so we're heading over to the domestic area to see whether or not some of those who have been stranded at the airport in Puerto Vallarta might hedge their bets and come to Mexico City to try to make their way back to Canada. As well, I have done extensive reporting on cartels in Mexico and am getting my sources on the ground to give me some information on what might happen next in a country clearly on edge. Avery Haynes, CTV News, Mexico City.
Meanwhile, there are locals who have found themselves in close proximity to this chaos. With more on their reaction, here's Lauren Stallone.
There was banging, there was explosions, and there was gunfire.
A calm Sunday morning in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, quickly turned into chaos. One Londoner recalls the moment he realized something had gone terribly wrong.
The sky above was black at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I looked to my left, and there were two cars on fire in the intersection.
Dennis McKeag says he has spent his winters in Mexico for many years, but never experienced anything quite like this.
People started running. So when people start running, I start running, right? And there's two guys on a motorcycle waving a gun and shooting.
McKeag says his apartment is located just a couple minutes down the road from where many of the explosions took place.
That's where the explosions were. And the last car that they exploded, I could feel the heat on my balcony.
While shaken up, McKeag says he doesn't plan to return home to London anytime soon.
Enjoying my time down here with caution.
And just 20 minutes north of Puerto Vallarta, residents in Mezcales are trying to remain positive.
Sometimes you have to change your mindset. And here we are in the pool laughing, and meanwhile, outside that gate, it was complete and utter chaos.
One woman from Chatham, Kent says, while surprised, nothing will change the way she feels about the place she calls her second home.
I love these people. I love these people, and they absolutely love Canadians.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Officials with the province's police watchdog say they're investigating after officers killed a suspect near Port Elgin this weekend. According to the SIU, police were looking for a suspect they say was involved in several break-ins and car thefts in Huron and Bruce County. Police say the suspect was found driving a stolen vehicle, refused to pull over, which eventually led to the K-9 unit's involvement and officers opening fire on the suspect, who later died in hospital. SIU officials have only identified the suspect as a 48-year-old man. A Sarnia city councillor is proposing staff examine a major switch in policing, switching from a municipal force to the OPP. As Brian Bicknell reports, that suggestion comes in the middle of a funding dispute over an expensive new police station.
Sarnia Councillor Bill Dennis says local ratepayers can't afford the estimated $120 million cost with inflation of a new police station. His comments come amid an ongoing dispute between Mayor Mike Bradley and the Police Service Board after the mayor vetoed the city's police budget request of $5 million to begin work on a new police headquarters.
You're not going to hear me say this often, but I do agree with Mayor Bradley on this. I was one of the ones that voted on his side to not go with the police station. We simply can't afford it.
Dennis has filed a motion to have city staff review alternative policing models, including a potential transition to the OPP.
Every community in Lambton County has the OPP, so there could be some economies of scale. There could be some efficiencies.
But the head of the Police Service Board says switching to the OPP doesn't solve the problem of what some believe is an inadequate police building.
We're bare bones. Like, we don't have elaborate anything in the service. And as far as the building, the OPP is not going to come in and say, oh, great, this building's perfect. It's not an effective police station. They have the same adequacy standards that we have as well. So it's not good for us. It won't be good for OPPs.
Sarnia considered transitioning to the OPP back in 2010, but ultimately took a pass. However, many municipalities have made the move, including the city of Aurelia about a decade or so earlier. Aurelia Councillor Ralph Cipolla was on council at that time and currently serves on the local OPP board. He says municipalities should think hard before making the move.
If you transfer to the OPP, council loses any authority to deal with your community on safety and police patrols, whether it's in the downtown or in different communities. The police themselves bring that up and say, okay, we only have so many people to do so many patrols and so on. So my take on it is not as effective as having your own police force.
Dennis's motion goes to council March 9th. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
A winter weather returned today across much of our region, causing hazards on the roads in Huron, Bruce, and Grey counties. High winds caused drifting snow across the region, especially along the Lake Huron shoreline. There was a swift drop in temperature as well, with tonight's wind chill value expected to fall below -20. With more, here's Julie Atchison with a first look at the forecast.
Good evening. Blustery conditions in parts of Midwestern Ontario continue, and watch for some rough roads again tonight in through parts of Huron and Perth County. London, flurries continue, and we could see a couple centimeters before midnight. Temperatures, it's cold, -7 to -10, and when you factor in that wind chill, it's feeling like -16. So that frigid air has returned with the passage of a cold front. You can see the flurries coming downwind of Lake Huron tonight, so lake effect snow continuing, and yes, the heaviest snow in through southern Huron County and southern Perth through the evening. Blowing snow continues to be an issue in Grey and Bruce County. As we head through the overnight, the winds will ease off, but still dealing with wind chills close to about -20 through the overnight. By midnight, we're down to -11. Coming up, I'll take you through the forecast. Another snow producer moving in Tuesday night. We'll talk accumulation, and we'll look ahead to the weekend where temperatures flip-flop the other way. I'll have your local weather details ahead.
Thanks very much, Julie. Provincial police say they're investigating a sudden death just south of St. Thomas. They say officers were called early Sunday morning after a woman was found lying on the side of Sunset Drive. Police say paramedics attempted life-saving measures, but she was later pronounced dead at St. Thomas Elgin General Hospital. According to police, the body is now in London for an autopsy. A woman was sentenced to 4 years in jail today, convicted of manslaughter after fatally stabbing her former friend 3 years ago. As Nick Paparella reports, the victim's family say the sentence should have been longer.
Every day I cry, think about her.
The pain never seems to subside for Shirley Henry after her granddaughter Shaniqua was stabbed to death in July of 2022. The 27-year-old Henry had been hanging out with her friend at the time, Corey Dockstader. After a night of partying, the body of the young mother would be found along a laneway off Jubilee Road on Chippewas of the Thames First Nation with a fatal stab wound to the chest. Dockstader would be originally charged with second-degree murder, But last summer, following a trial, she was found guilty of the lesser offense of manslaughter.
She could have stabbed her in the leg or someplace else. She knew what the hell she was doing.
While handing down his sentence, Justice Mark Garson said it remains unclear who originally had the knife and how the altercation unfolded. But I remain troubled by Corey's rapid departure from the scene and her failure to seek medical assistance. He went on, overall, this act falls closer to an accidental killing than to a murder. He then sentenced her to 4 years in jail and 3 years probation. With credit for time already served, Dockstader has 1 day left behind bars. Turning to the Henry family, Justice Garson said, "I know this decision is not what you hoped for, and I am sorry for that. Indigenous justice seeks to restore peace and heal both the people harmed and the people responsible for that harm."
I don't see how she could be out. My baby can't be out. Layla can't see her bubble.
Shirley is aware that no sentence can bring her granddaughter back. However, Shaniqua is never far away from her heart.
I have her. God, this is her right here. That's her ashes.
Nick Paparella, CTV News.
London police say they're looking for additional victims after charging a personal support worker at a London hospital with sexual assault. They say 41-year-old Marvin Edilberto Ramos assaulted a patient who is recovering from surgery, and they say there may be additional victims. London police say they've charged one person with interfering with a dead body. They say the body was found near King and Maitland last Tuesday. According to police, that person was Jessica Rose Backer, and they're asking anyone who may have interacted with her this month to contact them. A city councillor is proposing demolition to deal with a problematic vacant building in East London. As Rita Ismail reports, there are growing safety concerns after another fire this weekend.
It's the second time this year that this vacant building at Hamilton Road and Rectory Street is the focus of safety concerns after a fire Sunday night.
Over the last 2 months, we've responded twice to both situations of smoke and flames visible. And this poses a risk to not only the community, but our firefighters, and as well to potentially exposed buildings that might be nearby.
According to the fire department, vacant buildings can be unpredictable for crews, and the danger doesn't end once the fire is out. The fire department says after these incidents, crews board up the structures and continue to check on them regularly.
We undertook our initiative and completed our work. We boarded the building up and now handed it back to the owner, who will work alongside the building division to determine the status of this building.
But in this case, city officials say the property has been a long-standing problem.
We've had issues in the past in terms of property standards violations, people getting into the building. We've had vandalism, fires.
Because the structure is attached to neighboring buildings, tearing it down won't be simple. Still, McAllister says the city may be running out of options.
Fines aren't doing the trick. We've had issues in terms of the building being damaged, and so we were probably at the point where demolition is the best outcome. When you have absentee landlords, when you have demolition by neglect, I've really reached the end of my road with a lot of these buildings.
McAllister says there is another factor behind some of these incidents. That's a lack of places for people experiencing homelessness to stay during the winter months. If demolition is approved, the city says the cost would eventually be added to the property owner's tax bill. In the meantime, fire officials say they'll continue monitoring vacant buildings across the city. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Dangerous speeds on residential streets have led to more requests for traffic calming, but a council committee learned today the city department might need more staffing.
It's got to address the needs of the neighborhoods that are impacted.
If you need more resources, ask, and you will find a very sympathetic council.
Residents from across London complain that applying for traffic calming is complicated and often lacks sufficient feedback from city staff. The engineering department has just 2 employees plus a temporary position overseeing calming measures, and they're currently prioritizing improvements around schools after the provincial government eliminated speed cameras. The committee recommended staff write a report on possible improvements, including additional resources in the department.
We had this debate at the last multi-year budget. It's not something that's gone away. We're definitely still hearing a lot of concerns about it, and as the city grows, traffic's part of that.
The post office in Clinton has reopened. It had been closed for more than 2 weeks for roof repairs. According to Canada Post officials, there was initial damage from heavy snow back around New Year's, closing the facility for more than a week. It closed again on February 6th with no timeline for reopening. Post office officials say it may take a week for local workers to now get through a mail backlog. A St. Thomas family held a celebration this past weekend for a loved one who may not be with them much longer. As Brent Lail reports, the teenager's prognosis appears terminal at this point, so he's making the most of the time he has left.
Just tried to live life with no regrets.
17-year-old Wesley Johnson was born with a congenital heart disease. After waiting 3 years for a heart transplant that never came, he's been told by doctors he has just weeks to live.
This condition has been palliative since he was born, so we've kind of always known that this day could potentially come.
Yeah, I just try not to think about it too often. Our family uses dark humor to get through it.
Before he passes away, Wesley left Sick Kids in Toronto, where he spent the past 3 years. He decided to have a living celebration of life.
Being able to spend today with him when he's in such good spirits and such good health relatively compared to where we're headed is really special to us. It's a memory for us, and it's a positive memory for his siblings too.
Wes is a massive Blue Jays fan, so everyone attending was asked to wear their Jays gear. He even received a special surprise message.
What's up, Wes? David Snyder here of the Blue Jays. I know I heard you're a big Jays fan and everything, so I just want to say thank you for all the support and, hoping you have a good time at your party with, your friends and family.
A recent online fundraiser has helped Wes receive his final wish, attending a Blue Jays game in Dunedin.
I heard you're coming down in about 2 weeks or so, glad hopefully I can meet you here when you're down here.
Looking ahead to that trip in 2 weeks is what's driving him.
There's been a couple of days in the last week or so where we weren't sure if he'd make it to today, but we've managed. He's rallied again, and he's really, really looking forward to this.
Wes is a typical teen who loves video games and sports. He was able to graduate grade 12 with honors, get his driver's license, and work on an advisory council while he was at Sick Kids. And he has advice for others who are palliative.
I just try and live every day like it's your last and stay positive.
He'll spend his final days with family and friends while his mother is encouraging people to sign up for organ donation to prevent other people from missing out on a possible transplant.
These conversations have to happen. They're uncomfortable, but we need more organs, just period. People need to donate more, and it needs to be more talked about.
Brent Lail, CTV News.
When we come back, new tariffs taking effect, the latest economic leverage from President Trump and what it could mean for Canada. Plus, a student appeal, pushback on the provincial government's plan for post-secondary funding and student assistance.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. President Donald Trump's additional 15% tariffs take effect tomorrow, which he vowed to impose as retribution for last week's Supreme Court ruling. Canada is exempt from these latest tariffs, at least because of our trade pact. But as Judy Trin reports, that pact is up for negotiation.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Donald Trump's use of emergency economic powers to impose tariffs has been shackled by the Supreme Court, but the White House says it will use other tools to get what it wants.
The administration remains undeterred in reshoring American factories and getting rid of these massive trade imbalances.
Trump says he'll impose new 15% global tariffs to replace the ones deemed illegal. On social media, Trump warned against playing games and threatened much higher tariffs if countries back out of trade deals. But the European Union may not ratify the agreement it signed with Trump last year.
A deal is a deal. Both sides have agreed to
and indeed have a duty to honour their part of the agreement we made with the US.
In the past year, Trump's tariffs have brought in more than 240 billion Canadian dollars.
He needs to return that money, needs to refund that money with interest. He can do that in a nanosecond.
The Supreme Court decision does not apply to tariffs that are devastating Canadian steel, aluminum, automobiles, and softwood lumber. But in the past few weeks, some Republican representatives have voted against Trump's tariffs on Canada. Ontario's premier seized the moment to highlight the shifting support.
We saw what happened in Congress. We saw what happened in the Supreme Court. The walls are closing in, I believe, on President Trump right now.
Because of CUSMA, Canadian companies will mostly be exempt from Donald Trump's latest tariff threat. The Prime Minister has yet to comment on Trump's newest threats, but he is preparing for an overseas trip. He's headed to India, Japan, and Australia later this week to promote trade. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ontario NDP members are adding their voices to students, calling on the provincial government to save OSAP. It's in response to sweeping funding changes announced recently for Ontario's post-secondary institutions. With more, here's Siobhan Morris.
Despite more than a week of anger and anxiety over changes to OSAP, there's no sign of thaw on the policy that will dramatically cut the money given to students in grants. The shift is to more repayable loans.
You have to be held accountable when you take tax dollars. It's not a freebie anymore. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Flanked by college and university students, the opposition leader is demanding a reversal from the premier.
He is going to literally leave these students and students across this province struggling with debt for decades.
Students admit they're thinking of dropping out, unable to take on tens of thousands of dollars of debt, and graduating into a jobs market that could challenge their ability to pay it back.
If we make education less accessible, we only weaken our future workforce.
It is the future Doug Ford believes prospective students should be thinking of.
When you take a course, you have to look at in-demand jobs, something that we can drive our economy.
He mentions careers in the trades, manufacturing, nuclear energy, and healthcare. Adesi Mbalaja dreams of working in public health.
To break into the workforce, despite these high demand and that language is really difficult. And so a master's program is something I and so many students want to pursue, but we don't know what that looks like financially for us.
If she can't go forward with the kind of expertise the province needs,
I think it shows that this government is fundamentally, whether willfully or unintentionally, out of touch.
Christian Turner's been counting on OSAP grants for his education. He lost both his parents 2.5 years ago. The shift to loans?
It's a punishment for being poor. It is a punishment for those who have gone through extreme hardship and cannot fight for themselves.
The government's position is that the OSAP setup has become unsustainable. The NDP argues that could be fixed with a rebalancing of priorities so students aren't left under mountains of debt. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Municipal leaders in St. Mary's are trying to transform the way they treat housing projects, embracing new concepts in the name of affordability. With more on their approach, here's Sean Irvin.
St. Mary's bills itself as the Stone Town, and as we know, stones are hard to move. For decades, little changed here.
Well, we always had the same population in town. I didn't think it was ever going to change.
But like many southwestern Ontario communities, St. Mary's has experienced a boom over the last decade, adding pressure on prices and availability.
So everybody knows what is out there today outside single-family detached or towns or semi-detached and stuff like that.
But spreading the word wasn't enough for St. Mary's. The town decided to highlight some of its success stories in a new series of online videos. It visualizes how developers are adding services for secondary units in new homes, how residents are building multi-generational structures, and how some long-term residents are staying put by being innovative. For example, a senior couple who sold their home to their son and then moved into what was once their garage.
You looked at what was available for them and the price, and I just felt terrible. We had often talked about the garage, you know, that it would make a nice little tiny house, you know.
The project went smoothly, primarily because the town cut red tape. It's a dramatic shift from a decade ago.
Pre-pandemic, we would never have been looking at this at all in any shape, form, or fashion because it wasn't probably the right fit.
But the fit has changed, and Brower believes St. Mary's has no choice but to exhaust all possibilities in housing. Other small Ontario centres have contacted him to inquire how the Stone Town is pushing its housing agenda ahead so quickly.
You know, once we tell people, hey, this is permitted in town, a lot of people go, oh, wow, that is permitted? Yeah, I'm really interested in that.
Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Julie's with me on the desk now, and a bit of a wintry shift today. You could feel it, especially with that wind. There was a bite to it.
Yeah, wind chills today into the minus teens, and
Yikes.
tonight feeling close to minus 20 through the overnight. So it's biting out there. You got that right. Minus 7, our low temperature, and that's where we're sitting right now. The temperature will drop toward midnight. We'll be down to about minus 11. So temperatures dropping below normal. Satellite radar showing flurries coming off Lake Huron. Lake effect snow once again plaguing parts of our region. In London, we still have flurries and blowing snow is an issue across Midwestern Ontario tonight. Watch for some icy road conditions. A couple centimeters expected towards Huron County, 2 to 4, and in London 2 centimeters, so generally just trace amounts, but enough to create some icy spots on area roads. We had a cold front come through. The area of high pressure will build in behind it tonight. We won't see a lot of breaks in the cloud cover in London. We'll be under that off-lake cloud cover, but parts of Midwestern Ontario and in and around parts of Southern Ontario will see breaks in the cloud, and that will allow the temperatures to drop off. Our next clipper will be arriving to the area as we head into Tuesday night, and we'll get to that in just a second. Cold weather warnings in effect in through northern Ontario, stretching just south of James Bay. As you can see, the area is lit up in blue. Wind chills near minus 40 tonight. As we head to the east coast, still dealing with some heavy snowfall. Widespread weather warnings in effect from heavy snowfall to winter storm warnings. So that continues as snow is accumulating, and another 10 to 15 centimeters on the way, even 20 for some areas. So they've really been digging out, halting life on the East Coast. Temperatures overnight anywhere from minus 11 to minus 13 with some colder spots where the cloud cover breaks. So minus 20 in Mount Forest, KW, anywhere from minus 18 to minus 20. So that cold air is spilling once again over the Great Lakes. Tomorrow, the winds will shift to the southwest, but it will remain cold. So temperatures will try and moderate through the afternoon, but it's still going to be quite chilly. The clipper comes in Tuesday night. So through the day tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud. Then the snow starts to move in, and we'll pick up about 5 centimeters with this next round of snowfall. So the clipper arriving to the area into the evening. So tomorrow night we'll have snow. Through the day, it should remain fairly quiet, and then the snowfall will move east. We'll have flurries as we head into your Wednesday. So still some wintry conditions across our region. First thing in the morning as we head out the door, calm but cold with wind chills, as I mentioned, close to minus 20. Winds picking up in the afternoon out of the south, 30 with gusts of 50, and the forecast high coming in at just minus 5. So even though our winds are shifting, it's still going to be quite cold out there. At the freezing mark as we head into your Wednesday with flurries in the forecast, minus 1 on Thursday. Temperature recovers. Friday, mainly cloudy and 5. 3 degrees heading into Saturday with a chance of nighttime flurries, and then another drop. Sunday into Monday, minus 5 to minus 6. This time of year, yes, as we head into the end of February, we're seeing these major fluctuations. So still quite bitterly cold at times in the forecast, although we'll see a brief warm up as we head into your Saturday. Midwestern Ontario, mainly cloudy. Chance for flurries will continue through this evening, and then the snow arrives. The probability will start to ramp up in the afternoon. So we'll go from about a 60% chance to an 80% chance Tuesday night. And snowfall is expected to pile up, so anywhere from about 2 to 5 centimeters expected. Most of the area will pick up about 5 centimeters. Flurries in the forecast on Wednesday at minus 1, minus 3 on Thursday, Carlyle, and then the temperature above freezing as we head towards Friday and Saturday, and then another drop, minus 6 to minus 7 as we wrap up the weekend. So winter's just hanging on. We got another snow producer coming in tomorrow night, so The things to be aware of tonight are frigid wind chills and flurries continuing, which will lead to some icy spots, especially on those open roads across Midwestern Ontario. But some sunshine in the forecast tomorrow in advance of the next snow.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. When we come back, billions to be invested. Details on massive expansion plans for Loblaws brand stores.
Pure Country 93 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for 2 every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Broadway's Tony and Grammy-winning musical is coming to London. Don't miss Hadestown as part of the Broadway in London season at Canada Life Place, March 10th and 11th. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the show on March 10th.
Officials with Loblaws have announced expansion plans, spending billions over the next 5 years. With more on what that will look like for one of Canada's largest grocery chains, here's Adrian Gabriel.
With Canada now home to the highest rate of food inflation among the G7, one of the country's largest grocers is setting the table for a sizable expansion.
It says we're here, we're optimistic, we want to continue to grow.
Loblaws Canada is investing $2.4 billion in 2026, with plans to build 70 new locations and create more than 9,000 jobs. The National Grocers Plan will focus on building new Shoppers Drug Marts, No Frills, and Maxi stores for budget-focused customers. Along with the renovation of 191 locations, it's an investment that stretches from coast to coast. Loblaws says it plans to open 4 new stores in Atlantic Canada, creating 600 jobs. 15 new locations in Quebec will create more than 1,985 positions. Ontario will receive the largest boost with 27 new stores and 3,775 additional jobs. Provinces west of Ontario will welcome 24 locations, creating more than 3,400 roles with the company. Food economists say grocers are taking notice of cost-conscious consumers.
They're not leading consumers, they're responding to changes in consumer buying habits.
Loblaws pushed to expand its discount options as part of the company's 5-year plan to spend $10 billion by 2030.
Grocers focus on 2 things. The first is share, that is getting people to walk into your store. And the second is basket, which is how much they spend when they come in. And if either of those goes down, they feel the pinch.
Today's news comes ahead of Loblaws' 4th quarter results, set to be released this Wednesday.
Some economists expect the company's upgrades to look similar to this. Just 2 years ago, this was a Loblaws. It's since been rebranded and retrofitted as a No Frills, a sign of a shifting marketplace. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
The owner of the Ambassador Bridge has donated $1 million to a political action committee supporting Donald Trump. That donation came less than a month before the U.S. president threatened to block the new Gordie Howe International Bridge from opening. With more, here's Bob Belichico.
A regular Canadian, he doesn't get to write $1 million check to protect their business.
But people on both sides of the border feel that's what happened when Matthew Maroon, the billionaire owner of the Ambassador Bridge, donated $1 million to a pro-Trump campaign account less than a month before the U.S. president threatened the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge.
I mean, it just confirms what we knew all along, that this had to do with who funds the president as opposed to any significant or meaningful issue regarding the bridge.
It's fully built. It's fully connected. Any delay now, I would look at purely as a billionaire play to try and stall, and thwart the Gordie Howe's success.
It feels like if you have the money, you get ahead of the line and you get to determine the outcomes that are in your favor.
According to a monthly campaign finance statement, the 7-figure contribution was made to MAGA Inc. on January 16th. Now, MAGA Inc. is a super political action committee, or PAC, supporting President Trump and his current political endeavors.
It's a way to placate your donor who thinks that they're going to get something out of it when the courts didn't work. Nothing else worked so far. It makes no sense any way you look at it, except for the fact that there's such an overt money trail going on right now.
It paints the picture of
corruption in American politics.
Shanna Ports is Senior Legal Counsel with Campaign Legal Center, or CLC, in Washington. The organization is a political watchdog focused on government ethics and election law. According to CLC, there is an overt trail of brazen trade-offs.
We see so much corruption happening in the open, but there's also money being exchanged behind closed doors, and it's impossible to even track what sort of favors come out of that.
Ports says the system needs reform because the influence of super PACs is not being enforced properly.
Creates more and more loopholes for super PACs to cozy up even tighter to candidates and to make contributions to super PACs from these large donors even more valuable, which I think is why we're seeing so many of these exchanges.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was weighed down by losses in the technology sector. The TSX lost 41 points. In New York, the Dow fell 822. The Nasdaq fell 259. The Canadian dollar was flat, just above 73 cents American. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $140 an ounce. Oil lost 17 cents a barrel. Coming up, no sign of spring yet. A brutal winter storm has hit the American Northeast with blizzard conditions across the Big Apple. Welcome back. Ukrainians and their allies are holding rallies across the country, marking the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion in their homeland. Here's a look at the event in Victoria Park from this past weekend.
Why we're here? Because, you know, we have still war in Ukraine. 4 years, that not 3 days, not 3 months, but 4 years, you know. Hello. We stay because we have to support Ukraine, Ukrainian people, Ukrainian soldiers, Ukrainian kids.
All we can do is, if you've got any kind of money to support them, they need every little bit they can have, you know. But the fact is, we're so far away. I mean, if I had no family, I'd be there fighting as a 72-year-old. But the fact is, what can we do? Verbally, we can back them every way we can. We need more help. Look at it now, 4 years, all the deaths, all the poor children that we've lost, all the people that are lost for no reason. I'm not just going to say Ukrainians, Russians as well.
I'm still in the same shock and disbelief I was in 4 years ago when this war started. The moral support that Canada has given has been great. Individuals in London have taken in people from Ukraine. There's one Canadian fellow who is working there as a volunteer helping train Ukrainian forces. So Canadians have really stepped up. On a bigger picture, Ukraine needs more air defense, and we would certainly appreciate if there could be more sanctions on Russia to bring this to an end.
Hamilton police are launching a new online reporting option for human trafficking. Police say it's designed to improve victim safety and accessibility by providing an alternative for people who may not feel safe or are unable to attend a police station in person. Officials say human trafficking victims often face significant barriers to help, so this is meant to be a discreet and secure way to reach police. A massive fire gutted a historic Montreal church this morning. The former St. Paul Church was built between 1910 and 1911. Fire crews say the building was empty when the flames broke out. However, the firefight was so intense, they say they evacuated nearby buildings, including the church's former rectory, which has operated as a seniors' home. They say nearly 150 people are affected, including 73 from the seniors' residence. No injuries have been reported, though, and a cause has not yet been determined. A new Liaison Strategies poll shows the Liberals' lead over the Conservatives is growing. The poll surveyed 1,000 Canadians earlier this month, during which time Matt Genereux crossed the floor from the Conservatives to the Liberals. According to the poll, 45% of respondents would vote Liberal if an election were held today. 33% would vote Conservative. The NDP came in at a distant third, polling 9% support. London astronaut Jeremy Hansen will have to wait a bit longer before his mission to the moon lifts off. NASA officials are reporting more technical issues, so the launch will now happen no earlier than April 1st. They say workers detected problems with helium flow to the rocket, which helps ensure fuel tanks are pressurized. The 4-person crew includes Hansen, along with 3 Americans.
A big thank you to Natasha Calling for sending this photo in from Goderich. The tundra swans are back. Now they migrate through Goderich and Huron County. They stop to rest and recharge. Usually mid to late March is their peak, but it can be spotted as early as February. Thank you for sending that in. Frigid wind chills overnight and snow in the forecast as we head into Tuesday evening.
A major winter storm has grounded travel in parts of the northeastern United States, canceling thousands of flights and halting train service. This time-lapse footage shows the Empire State Building blanketed in snowfall. All non-essential travel was actually banned this morning in New York City.
We've been out since Saturday, pre-treating the roads. Our team is ready and out, but we need residents to really stay home and heed that warning.
Officials in New York City declared a state of emergency, as have leaders in Massachusetts, Delaware, and Rhode Island. More than 5,000 flights have been canceled. Some areas around New York City have seen upwards of 20 inches of snow since Sunday, with almost 60 million people under weather warnings across the region. There are new accusations in the UK against the former Prince Andrew. These new allegations suggest Andrew charged taxpayers for massages and travel expenses during his time as UK envoy. Officially, it was an unpaid role he held from 2001 to 2011, but there was public funding for overseas travel. Last week, the King's younger brother was arrested and released over misconduct allegations related to emails sent to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He was not charged, though, and has been released under investigation. Federal government officials have released a new report on specialty vape stores and how many of them seem to be breaking the rules. Nearly half of the locations inspected were found to be in violation, prompting calls to tighten enforcement. Kathy Lee reports.
Bright lights, clean counters, strict rules on display.
20 mil?
For more than a decade, manager Hein Nago says this vape business was built on operating above board.
If you want to be compliant, it's very simple. Buy from the distributors that has been authorized by Health Canada.
But a new federal report suggests not every store operates the same way. Health Canada inspected more than 500 specialty vape shops nationwide and found 43% were breaking the rules, most often over promotion of prohibited flavors, testimonials or endorsements, packaging that did not have the required health warnings or showed nicotine levels above the legal limit of 20 milligrams per milliliter. Public health advocates warn those violations can make vaping more appealing, especially to teens.
Among high school students in grade 12 across Canada, 27% are vaping. That's way too high.
By comparison, the Health Canada data also shows less than 1% of gas and convenience stores inspected were found non-compliant when it came to vaping products. Researchers say specialty shops often stock a broader range of products, including imports, which can make oversight harder.
The importers, the retailers themselves, and the manufacturers are all supposed to have, the responsibility to comply with Canadian regulations. And all of them, I think, in some ways are struggling with that.
Nago worries the report unfairly paints rule followers like him, and the answer is better enforcement.
If you were to be more strict, have more inspectors going around, making sure, and take complaints from resellers, retailers seriously.
Last month, Ottawa raised fines to up to $3,000 and expanded on-the-spot ticketing as health advocates push for a nationwide ban on flavored vapes, saying patchwork rules make enforcement harder. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, another hockey heartbreaker at the Olympics. Fans across the country tuned in Sunday morning, hoping Canada's men's team could come home with gold. And that included packed bars and restaurants here in London, allowed to open early for the special occasion. Brent Lale reports.
It was a roller coaster of emotions.
The atmosphere is awesome. Everybody's so intense. I mean, everybody's waiting in line just to come inside today.
Restaurants and bars were packed packed before 8 a.m. with people hoping to get a spot to watch Canada play for gold.
I worked the night shift last night, and I had to stay up, so it's crazy.
It's great to see the spirit here in Canada. Everybody just, 8 o'clock in the morning.
The game went back and forth with the teams exchanging goals and Canada dominating the chances, just unable to score.
I've got goosebumps all over. I'm so excited. This is just an exciting thing to be a part of.
Just days before this contest, Premier Doug Ford allowed establishments to open and serve alcohol as early as 6 a.m. The idea was to not only bring the country together, but help small businesses. The phones at Mustang Sally's were ringing off the hook to reserve a spot.
We're excited that we were able to open up early, and we thank Doug Ford for allowing us to do that. We have been here since 6 a.m. getting ready for all our customers, and I think the hockey brings the whole community together, so very important for the bars to have been allowed to open up early.
Unfortunately for Canadian fans, the bar went silent in overtime when Jack Hughes scored the winner.
They gave it hearts on the ice. They left everything out there. It's an unbelievable game. Obviously disappointed, but look how well they played. Unbelievable. The London kids can be proud. All the kids from our area. Unbelievable. Really, really good game.
Londoners Nick Suzuki and Drew Doughty, as well as Rodney's Bo Horvat, are bringing home silver medals. Brent Lale, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.